Hey there, it's Claire here and welcome to today's vlog. So today I'm talking to you about when our goals get in our own way. And I really want to make this clear here because it's something that I've personally had to work through, and it's something that I see in most of my clients and a lot of my friends and family. And it's quite fascinating to witness it because what I'm actually seeing is what I used to do in the past all the time. And I'm just going to kind of describe a scenario for you in order to bring this to life a little bit more. So just imagine that you have set yourself a goal, something you want to focus on. And you do what you need to do to make that happen in the beginning. Maybe it is working with a particular coach or a person, or maybe it's sort of getting yourself organized and set up and you've purchased everything that you need from Officeworks and everything's laid out so you're ready for that project, whatever it is. And then you start to see some results. Maybe a couple of weeks in, you start to get what I refer to as beginner's luck. If anyone's ever read The Alchemist from Paulo Coelho, he talks a lot about how the universe throws you a bone when you're on the right path, when you're doing something that's for your highest good. And it's called beginner's luck is because when we're not concentrating so hard, maybe we're coming from a space of motivation and inspiration, but when we're not controlling, it sort of flows and stuff happens for us. So maybe you've had that experience, you've decided to move forward with something because it feels right for you and you're enjoying the first few weeks and it's fun and it's light and you get some results. And then what happens is your ego kicks in and your feeling of need and I want it now and how do I make this work even better for me? So the energy of control starts to take over and it starts to be how you guide your way through these goals. So maybe you've kind of given yourself a very loose plan at the beginning and all of a sudden you're scheduling things into your diary of when you need to do stuff by, or setting yourself deadlines or achievement points or stuff that you need to do by a certain date. Not judging any of that. We all need to have some structure. We all need to have something to kind of work towards. I get that. But sometimes what we do is we take that initial intention that probably came from an intuitive space, and then we turn our goals into this experience of force and control that no longer comes from this feels right for me and I'm having fun with this and I'm really enjoying this, to I need to make this happen now, or if I don't keep pushing forward it's going to stop flowing or doing whatever it is that it's doing. So say you're losing weight, I'm going to stop losing weight. Or say you've been writing a book and you've been writing thousands of words and all of a sudden you create this plan so that you can reach a certain number of words every day, and you're so eager to hit a certain mark. So what tends to happen is that control starts to block us. We go from flowing and creating and just naturally doing what we're doing and it working beautifully to all of a sudden feeling quite stuck, and maybe it starts to fall apart. Maybe the weight loss stops, or maybe the writing just all of a sudden seems like a chore, or maybe that other project that you're creating just no longer flows. And what this essentially comes down to is we have let our goals become bigger than our initial desire. We've let our goals start to control the process, and the end point of the goal, the very final destination, has all of a sudden become the main thing that we can see in our line of vision, and we're fixated on that result, the end goal, and we're no longer focusing on the beauty of the journey. So we're talking force and control and fixation onto our agendas and attaching to our end goal and our expectations to start to go wild. And so then your goals are no longer achievable. You've actually started to get in your own way by using your goals to tear you down. So it kind of sounds a little bit confusing, but that initial goal, that initial intention that you have ends up turning around and being the thing that tears you down. And the truth of the matter is it all kind of comes down to the energy space that you're moving from. It comes down to the point of where you flipped the switch from flowing and moving with ease and accepting whatever was going to happen and having no expectations, to starting to overplan and overstructure and control and set boundaries and limit. And I know that as I'm talking to you right now, there's probably at least one example that you can think of. And this is something I talk a lot about in the e-course, My Freedom Project. And control is a really intense energy that shows up in so many different ways, from really small experiences to really, really big experiences. So as you're listening to this, maybe you're thinking about quite a big project, or maybe there's just like something very quite small and maybe almost undetectable where this is happening for you. So it doesn't matter if you're not thinking about anything either at the moment. It'll come to you if it needs to come to you. So what I want you to do is take a look at whatever does come to you and consider the energy space that you're moving from. And ask yourself these questions. Am I enjoying this process? Am I still connected to my initial intentions? Are my intentions still a guiding light, or have they turned into an intense focal point to the point where all I can see is the end goal? And is the journey unfolding naturally, or have I started to create boundaries and structure, and have I tried to force this into something? So just take a moment to ponder over those questions with any example that comes to mind for your life. And it might be something that's no longer actually in action. It could be something from the past, and maybe looking back you can see, wow, that's why my goal never came to fruition, because my goal turned into sabotage, basically. Because my goal turned around and took over and got in the way. Or the correct way of saying this is that I got in the way of the goal doing what it needed to do naturally on its own. So that's something for you to think about when our goals get in our own way. And this is why I prefer to have intentions, and I prefer to have the end point in mind, somewhere in my head. I have an idea as to where I'm going, and I have an idea as to what I'm ultimately trying to create. But each and every day, the present moment is the goal of the moment. Just to be there with that project, with that experience, with that thing that I'm focusing on. And to actually just stay moving through what unfolds as and when it chooses to unfold. So sometimes this might look like the project seems to stop. I don't feel like working on it for a few days. If I was to get so caught up in the end goal, I might start overtaking that feeling and start creating structure and carve out more time and cancel my plans with somebody in order to make sure that I've got the time to tackle that project. Or I might be able to just go, okay, so this is just what's unfolding right now. I still have that goal in mind. I still have that intention. I still believe it's going to happen. But I'm just going to follow this energy space right here. And then lo and behold, most of the time, it shifts, and before I know it, I'm back in the flow and I'm doing whatever I need to do in that project or that experience. So that's not to say that deadlines don't matter. I'm not talking about that. You guys can deal with your deadlines in a different way. I'm just talking about the energy that you choose to come from, and actually letting go of controlling everything so much and taking your white knuckle grip, get your dirty mitts off life for a moment, and stop thinking that your intentions or your goals are the be-all and end-all, and that you're not going to be shiny, happy, amazing, special unless you tick that off. Not true. So just trust in life a little bit more and stop getting in your own way. Don't use your goals as a way to block the flow of your life. So, what I'd love to hear from you is right now in this moment, can you see where you're controlling? And can you share in the comments below how you have been able to identify that that's actually got in the way of whatever it is you're trying to achieve? So down below in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. And of course, anything else that you want to add, feel free. So much love to you guys. Bye.